Hello again. So, last week, the video that I posted was about awesome Beatle ukulele covers. And it got me thinking that maybe I should have done this video first, but whatever. But what I want to talk about two things this week. The first is my top 5 Beatles cover songs that I really, really like. And the second thing that I want to address is, I guess, kind of the issue of remembering John. Anyway, top 5 awesome Beatles covers. 5! My number 5 cover is from the Across the Universe soundtrack, and I really have mixed feelings about the movie overall, but I was really, really impressed with the way that they handled most of the songs. And what surprised me was that they don't suck. Most of them. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. I've seen it twice, and like I said, mixed feelings. But probably my favorite song from that soundtrack was the cast version of I've Just Seen a Face. It's the scene in the bowling alley. And I am almost, I don't know, I think I kind of might like that better than the original. And I don't say that often, but it's really good. So, links to all these are in the sidebar. And as you can probably hear, it's playing over this, me talking. So, yeah. Number 4. The song appears on my list twice, but it's an Elton John cover of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And interestingly enough, I knew that John covered the song with Elton John. They played it together at that concert at Madison Square Garden. But I didn't know that John played it on the actual original recording. And he didn't do it under his actual name. He did it under one of his awesome pseudonyms. And so he's credited as Dr. Winston O'Boogie on this song. And it's Elton John's cover of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And I really like it. I think it's kind of important to stay true to the original in some ways, but also kind of do your own thing with it. And I think this version does it pretty good justice. And it's also from a movie about World War II that's set entirely to Beatles songs called All This in World War II. The whole soundtrack is Beatles covers, so it's good stuff. Number 3! Any Beatles cover done by Elliott Smith. I am on like a huge Elliott Smith kick right now. I love him a lot. He's wicked talented, or I guess he was wicked talented. He died a few years ago. And he was very influenced by the Beatles a lot. You can hear a lot of Beatle influences in most of his songs. But he did a lot of Beatles covers, and I would encourage you to check them all out. There's a whole bunch on YouTube, so if you just Google Elliott Smith Beatles, you'll find a lot. He does a lot of George covers, which is a pleasant surprise. I really like his version of I'm Mine and Something. It's just, love it. Love it. I love Ben Folds so much. If there is any musician that I love anywhere near as much as I love the Beatles, it is Mr. Folds. And he covered Golden Slumbers for the I Am Sam soundtrack, that movie with Sean Penn and Dakota Fanning and Michelle Pfeiffer. It was like precursor to Across the Universe, where the whole soundtrack was Beatles. And his cover of Golden Slumbers is, like I said, very true to the original, and Ben Folds plays the piano, so it's kind of like the perfect song for him to cover. I like it. And I love Ben Folds. So, yeah. Number 1! Woo! And finally, this last song is totally, completely weird and ridiculous in so many ways, but it's so awesome. And it's William Shatner's cover of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And it's so weird and so awesome. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. William Shatner doesn't sing, he speaks. So it's like a spoken word version of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and it's trippy and awesome and so cool, and I love you, William Shatner. So yeah, those are my top 5 Beatles covers. Links to them are in the sidebar. Check them out. Do it! You know you want to. The other thing that I wanted to address in my video this week was the issue of remembering John. And as you know, that this past Tuesday, December 8th, was the 29th anniversary of John's death. And a couple people on the channel posted remembrance videos, but as Sophie pointed out in her video on Thursday, a lot of us didn't. And I just kind of wanted to address my reason for not doing that. And for me, like, remembering John is not something that is just confined to one day for me. I remember him every time I listen to the Beatles or when I listen to his music or anything like that. And I mean, it would be impossible for me to properly pay tribute to someone who has had so much influence on my own life. Like, I wouldn't be able to properly do it justice. And I think we all kind of mourn and remember in our own ways, like, not just about, you know, Beatle deaths, but anything in that vein. Like, some of us are more private than others, and some aren't, and, like, that's fine either way. But I think the really important gist is that we just remember. And I don't know, I think that's enough for me. But I mean, it's not like a dig at Sophie or anybody who posted to the channel. This is just me blabbering on. So, yeah. And plus, I dealt with teenagers all day that day. I had a bad group of kids and a substitute teacher, and it was just too much. So by the time I came home, my brain was fried. So yeah, that's really all I have for this week. Also, hi to our new Fab fans, Jacqueline and Josephine. They posted videos already this week, so if you haven't watched their videos, go watch them. Welcome them to the channel because they're fabulous, and I'm very excited that they are on board. So again, that's all I have for this week. I will talk to you guys next week.